but we are moving forward. So next slide. Just some networking guidelines, staying respectful. Pop your intros and promos in the chat. Include where you are today because we want to know our geographic distribution. Use that raise your hand function if you have questions or input for the conversation. And again, any self promotion, engagements, wins, all that good stuff, drop that in the chat. And we do try to avoid the solicitations or sales pitches. The idea behind these, number one, help each other out. And number two, we also write articles from these sessions. And obviously, we're recording it. So anything you say can and will be held against you. So, fair warning, you got a bunch of journalists in the room with you. Good practice. We do use these sessions to create articles. So, it's a great way to get some more visibility. We like visibility. All right, next slide. Dun, dun, dun. We've got our agenda. Welcome and event invitations. We have sane productivity systems is our topic for the day. We're going to do a group discussion, some takeaways and wrap ups, and then share information about our future events. So, is there a next slide? No, I think that. Oh, yes. Just a reminder that our next session is the Lioness December networking, and we are going to talk about pivots and changing directions. And that is on Tuesday, December 9th. It will be from 1 to 2 p.m. Eastern, so a little bit later on in the day. Hopefully, you can join us. That would be fabulous. And I believe we have our networking link into the chat. Thank you, Suzanne, for sharing that. And if you're interested, if you haven't done so far, joining our community of women entrepreneurs, also signing up for our newsletters. So we've got those links in the chat. Hopefully you can join us and take advantage of all the cool things that we have going on here at Lioness. So before that's the end, right, Laura? Yes. All right. So before we get started, I would like to pop out a poll. So we're going to launch a little poll. I am curious how everybody is feeling about their general productivity. So, how productive do you feel? Good? You're checking things off that to-do list every day. Meh, the to-do list is judging you. If you're like me, you have no idea where that to-do list is. Come be my friend. And then, they send help. Yeah. What's a to-do list? All right. How are we feeling about our productivity? Oh, yes, I so feel your pain. I actually do have my to-do list. I know where it is. It's this piece of paper. I gotta ask, who else is a old school, I got a piece of paper person? Oh, I love you all. You're my people. All right. We got a couple more folks just participating in the survey, and then we'll see how everybody. Oh, Elaine, sticky note productivity. Mmm. Good, good. Excellent. Fantastic. All right. Everybody participated in the survey. We're gonna see how you all feel about your productivity. This is our kicking off general productivity assessment. Are you ready? Let's share those results. We got a lot of mess in the room. And those of you with no idea where the to-do list is, I feel you. I absolutely feel you. All right. We've got one more poll question. Almost as much fun. We are getting ready for the holidays. And I don't know why I can't launch that. Oh, I have to stop sharing the other one. Well, that's interesting. All right, we're going to launch a second poll. Getting ready for the holidays in relationship to your productivity. So, holiday productivity. Holidays give you time to catch up. Holidays mean you're more behind than ever. Holidays make no difference. And oh my God, there are holidays coming. Yes. So I want to hear about you and your holiday productivity. Feel free to whine to me. I hear you. I feel your pain. All right. So we're just gonna see how everybody feels about holiday productivity. Amy, I love that. Get a chance to rest. All right. Ready? Here we go. This is what we're feeling. Interesting. Majority of folks feel that holidays give you a chance to catch up. Some of you, yep, holidays mean you're more behind than ever. And we also have a group, holidays make no difference. So interesting, interesting. Okay, I'll stop sharing that and we're going to move on to the discussion. And again, just for anybody who's joining us, when we share things in the Lioness Networking, there is always the chance that it could appear in writing on the Lioness Magazine website. It could end up in an article. If you say something and you have regrets, just talk to us. We're not like 60 Minutes showing up at the door with a camera crew ready to shine the spotlight on you. All right. So, let's start off with a discussion. Again, today we are talking about productivity. Is there a thing that is on your to-do list, been lingering there way too long, and why? Why is it lingering on your to-do list? I am curious. Inquiring minds want to know. Do you have a thing? And I popped the question in the chat. Is there something that's lingering on your to-do list and it's been lingering way too long? And is there a sticking point at it? If you've got an answer, if there's something you want to share, give me a little wave. Use that raise your hand function that pops you up into the top row. I will definitely share that for me. I've got way too many follow-ups in my to-do list. Trisha, what about you?
I am building a membership, like a, and I got started, and then life, and then more life, and then life again, and more life. This has been the life year, and then going back into it and relearning the process and like the learning curve, and then having to take it. It's just become this daunting, overwhelming thing that should have been done months and months ago, and uh, I've I've forced it to stop keeping me up at night, but it that's the thing. It's like weighs on me. It it's making me crazy.
Yeah, I get the whole life happens. But I also want to point out one thing that you mentioned, which is stopping, starting, restarting. There's that learning curve. It's like you feel like you're like, "Oh yeah, this is how I do that. Now I remember." So that's a great point. And getting started with anything and that where you have to come back to it, always kicking yourself because they have to learn it all over again, especially with all the technology these days. All right. Anyone else want to share their thing that is sitting there? Everybody's like, "No, this is my secret. My secret shame." Sharon's like, "I have no secret shame." Hi, Sharon.
Hello, I have been shaming myself for years over this one particular project. I, after 5 years of hemming and hawing and putting it off year after year, finally seeing the light at the end of the tunnel of putting in my application to the National Speakers Association for Certified Speaking Professional, the CSP designation, which is
Wow.
a huge project because the paperwork I hate spreadsheets. I'm a communication person. I don't know. Spreadsheets are the bane of my existence. And in order to submit your application, you have to provide a minimum of 250 paid speaking engagements within a 5 year period over 10 years. Like it could be any of the five where you have achieved all of this and provide the contact person, how much you got, what the title of the speech was, how many people were in attendance. It can be virtual, in person, hybrid. Like the paperwork is, oh, massive lift. And the reason I finally did it this year is I told people in my chapter of the Carolinas NSA chapter, I was doing it. Three other people said, I'll do it too. And so we have become accountability partners. I
Mm.
think that's been a big help is once you put it out in the universe, it's hard to take it back.
Yep. Tell others. That's a strategy. And accountability partners. All right. So we're not going to shame anybody else. I probably shouldn't have started that question, but let's talk about how you currently organize your day. How that's working for you. Like let's talk about things that work for people. Who wants to share how you are organizing your day and especially things that other people might be able to adopt? I heard somebody say they were time blocking. Who was talking about time blocking? Tara, Amy. All right, Amy, I saw a wave. Hi, Amy. How are you
Hi.
organizing your day?
Um, I am trying time blocking again for the millionth time, just because I noticed someone in the chat said the time to like focus and not multitask, the time to really sit and think about something is so elusive. So when we talk about business development or big thinking things that we need to do, I'm trying that time blocking. I also have accountability partners for some things, and that sometimes works. We get together and kind of work side by side on the thing we don't want to work on the most.
Mm, that's actually something we offer through Lioness. There's a co-working time weekly. So just a little advertisement there for the Lioness co-working. And Suzanne and Laura are usually in it. I pop in every once in a great while, and getting somebody else just quietly sitting there, you feel like you have to work. So, all right. Anybody else with time blocking or another system, perhaps? Use a time timer? Trisha, what's that?
This thing changed my life.
What is it?
It's a time timer. And so if I'm particularly bad at anything financial, like sitting down with financial, and I always have this like, oh, I'll spend the day. And really, if you put in 20 minutes, you're going to get something done. So you put your time timer and it just, here's 15 minutes and it counts down visually. Yup. My business coach recommended it. She discovered it for one of her. I think she had a child that had ADHD or something. They come in cute colors, but you just get it online. It's like I don't know, $20 or something, and it counts down. So then I commit to that wedge of time, and I just put it there, and I work and glance, and it's getting all those stupid little things that I didn't that you put off gets them all done. Sometimes I've even set my time timer for 5 minutes, and I'll be like, I'm going to do that for 5 minutes, and it makes a difference.
And that was not you stuttering. It's really called a time timer.
Yep, it says it right on it. Time timer.
Okay. I
Time.
had no idea such a thing existed.
I didn't either, but wow, I love this stupid thing. And you can have it with an alarm on or not. So at the end of your chunk of time, uh, it's good for music practice too. Like if you don't want to, I've recommended it for some students, but yeah, it's great because you predetermine how much time and then you stop, and it helps me get stupid things done.
All right. Anybody else have some great, perhaps, things that might sound silly at first, but help you get things done? Do we have any folks here who are productivity whizzes? You're like, I have a system. I'm curious. No, nobody. We're all looking for help. Nobody's got their system down. That's funny. I actually figured we would see a bunch of folks here with systems. Kelly, do you have a system?
Well, I have a lot of systems, I guess. Um, I I just wrote a book on checklists, how to use comprehensive checklists in medical communication. So when it comes to medical writing and medical editing, I tend to put everything on the checklist, which is kind of a big difference from just a to-do list saying, "Oh, I need to do this." Mine's very specific about what, if you have a system you have to get into, put that on the checklist, and all the tasks that you have to do within the process, put that all on the checklist and go through the checklist to make it more efficient and use it to make you more consistent. So that's one way that I keep things organized, is by putting everything on checklists. But I'm also like some other people, like the post-it note is the urgent things. Those are today things. I have I have to-dos on my Rocketbook. I have a calendar, but the things that are on the post-it note, by God, they got to get done today. Like, so I have some prioritization kind of
All
things going
right.
on too.
You and Elaine had post-it notes. Where do the
Yeah,
post-it notes live?
on
Do
my
they are
desk.
they like on the desk? Are they on the
Yeah.
computer monitor?
Oh, mine are paper for sure. They're right in front of me.
Okay. Well, I actually used to stick literal physical post-it notes to my computer monitor.
Yeah.
So, and I heard a couple rocket something.
Oh, the Rocketbook.
What's a rocket book?
Uh, it's kind of like a whiteboard. You can write on it, and
Okay.
and then you can scan it to your computer, and then you erase it and you just use it over again. So there's no paper.
Oh,
Uh, s-
fantastic.
so that helps me. I like to write. Like, it does help you remember things, to write things down, but then I
Mhm.
can also scan it and put it into the computer.
All right. I see Trisha talking about a bullet journal. What's a bullet journal?
Yeah, I love a bullet journal, but I'm telling you, life has been flinging stuff. So I realized just the other day that I need to reorganize and get back to my bullet journal. But it's a whole system where you take a notebook, and I'm at the end of my notebook, so I'm going to start a new one. I think I'll start it today or tomorrow. And you set it up where you have an index in the front, and it's a really cool system. This guy whose brain works kind of like mine, I guess, created it. And basically, the short story is, for every single day, you have a list of bullets that you're going to do, and but people use it for all kinds of organizing. People use it for drawing too. I don't know what that's about, but you have all these bullets, and you're going to do the bullets, and when you're done, you put an X through them. If you're not going to do it today, then before the end of the day, you put a little forward slash that says that you moved it to another date. So you put it ahead to another date, or you can put it to another. You can decide you're not going to ever do that thing and you cross it out, or you can put it in something that goes for the next month. So each month there's like a list of goals, and you can move that bullet into that page up ahead, so that when you get to that month, you could say, right, I was going to do this project this month or what have you. And it's visual, and it's paper and pencil, so I really like that.
It feels a little bit like the old Franklin Covey books that I used to have.
Oh, cool.
Anyone else a Franklin Covey, folks? Mmm. Big, thick journals with many pages, one for each day. And you would move your to-do list to the next day if you didn't get to it. And there was a whole system involved. All right. Um, wow. Okay, so anybody have productivity methods like failed on you? Don't bother with the, oh, Natasha.
So I thought this was brilliant, but for some reason I just couldn't stick to it. And it was really simple. Dan Sullivan has this way that you split up your days, right? You get your free days, That's 24 hours, no business reading, no nothing. As entrepreneurs, you have to be able to unplug, right? And
Okay.
then you've got focus days, and those are days that you just dedicate to client work, right? And then buffer days are the days that you get stuff done that relates to client work or to-dos that have been piling up, right? And I thought that was, I mean, it was simple on the surface, and it took a lot of discipline to stick to it. And I found my buffer stuff bleeding into focus stuff and my focus stuff bleeding into free days and all of that. And I just couldn't keep it going. And I tried and I tried and I tried. However, they've got this really great little calendaring system. And you've got like three things that you have to do during the week. Those are like your big rock things. And so you put those in, and then there's like a little section that says strategic projects. So it's like little rock stuff during the week. And, it's the project, what action you're going to take this week on it, who is going to do it? Is it going to be you? Is it going to be your VA? Is it going to be an assistant? Do you have a service provider who's helping you on it? And then you've got little ticks, right? And then at the bottom of it, you've got, who do you need to network with that week? So I mean, it's still, fairly well organized. And then they've got this chunk on it's called, here, we'll do that, the positive focus. So every day before you end the day, you put in what you achieved. So that makes you feel good, right? You look at your progress. And one of the things as entrepreneurs that we suffer from, apart from judgment, and we're not going fast enough, and things aren't coming together the way we want, is we don't celebrate the small things that we've done. And so there's the achievement piece. Why is it an achievement? What do you need to do next? And what's the next action you're going to take? So it's designed for momentum, but I keep not doing my positive focus and my free buffer and focus days.
Okay.
I don't know
And
if that's helpful at all.
I feel like Dan Sol was that the 10x people? Um,
No, they're in Toronto. He's like a
okay.
business coach,
Yep,
so I mean, I did that for a couple of years, and I struggled with that calendaring system.
I
And
can
I
see that.
I tried real hard to get my focus and free and buffer days organized, and they just sort of bled into each other. But I mean, like on the surface, it was brilliant. It seemed easy and doable.
Okay. Anyone else? Don't go this direction if you're searching for productivity. Anyone else have a productivity system that didn't work for you? Oh, everybody's like, every productivity system I have ever worked for works. Yep. Sharon's like, nope.
I tried that ClickUp thing. Has anybody heard of ClickUp? Good Lord, Laura, I see you nodding. I saw some other speaker do a whole workshop on how, and she's a productivity expert, and she showed how ClickUp helps her do this and this and this and this. I paid for it for 1 year. Oh dear God, it was so complicated. So complicated. I spent more time trying to figure out how to make the thing work. And then it just, like many things, went by the wayside. So I quickly took my credit card info off so it wouldn't renew the next year.
Oh dear. All right. No click ups.
No.
All right. Trisha?
Well, sorry, but the one thing that did not work for me was I went to a productivity class that I paid for. It was like a 1 day one, and he kept saying if you're not getting up between 4:30 and 5 in the morning, then you are setting yourself up for failure. You have to get up between 4:30 and 5. And I raised my hand and I said, that's just sort of, you just mean get up before it's time to work, right? Like, because I work until midnight. And he's like, well, then you have to change what you do. And I said, but I literally, like, I'm a flutist, and I am a college counselor for teenagers. So all of my work is between 2 p.m. and midnight, all of it, all of it. And he said, well, you should consider changing your field. You'll never be successful. You can never be successful. All of the best things happen if you get up between 4:30 and 5. And his whole thing was about getting up to 4:30 and 5. And then all these other people are writing in and they're like, yeah, you're never going to make it. You have to get up by 5 a.m. And I was like, I can't sleep 4.5 hours. This isn't going to work. I left. I didn't even stay for the whole thing. I was,
That
so
sounds
that
like
didn't work.
that sounds like hustle culture talking.
Yeah, it did not work for me. Nope.
Okay. No getting up at the crack of dawn. I mean, if that's your thing, great, more power to you. But yeah, that's a little much. All right, we're gonna move on from the things that are just not working for folks. Um, all right, so we have talked about a couple of go-to productivity setups, digital tools, paper planners. Once upon a time, I saw a productivity person who advocated for basically dumping all of your to-dos. And it was the daily morning, like write everything down, go through your calendar. What do you need to do? And then circle the top three things because that's all you're going to get to. And put an X by the second tier. I like the whole dumping thing. Like, yep, I'll just dump everything on a list. And part of it was what are you not getting done every day that you need to deal with? So that was one system that I will fully admit, I still kind of do that a bit. Sit there with a piece of paper and write it all down and circle the top things that I need to get done that day. Um, I did hear a little bit in the let's protect that focus time. Anyone else here a Microsoft shop? Like Microsoft system will actually put in focus time for you. It'll take your empty time if you're using Office 365 and it will set aside focus time for you based on looking at your calendar. Problem is, if your calendar is too full, it will end up like mine. I literally have a calendar where Microsoft has decided that my perfect focus time is between midnight and 2 a.m. because that's the only time I always seem to have free. So that's not working for me so much. But how do you protect focus time, the ability to actually do something? Do you have time set out on your calendar that you are putting in ahead of scheduling? Who's got a good strategy on that? Marcia.
Yeah, I think I'm getting better at it. So there are certain appointments on my Calendly that I put buffering time around to help myself, right? To make sure, like I had time before I recorded podcast episodes with people, but I actually put in time after now too, so that I can immediately record the hook and submit the whole thing, and not that doesn't become another thing on my to-do list for later, which has been helpful. I also 3 times a year block time where I'm just away from everybody and everything for a couple of days. So I go early on our Christmas holiday and I'm by myself at our holiday home for 3 days to just kind of get the plan together for the next year. So I do some bigger chunks because even I have 3 teenagers at the house. So even if I block a couple of hours with everything else that needs to happen in life, perpetually, I have 3 hours to get something done, and half an hour of that at least will get hijacked because somebody else, I need to adult for the other people in my life, right? And so I also tried the focus time thing, but it didn't work because if I then block off a day where I'm like, I don't want people to be able to book my calendar because I might be traveling and I don't I don't know what the day will look like, then it will move the focus time everywhere else. And then people who need to book stuff, it's not intelligent enough. So I've given up on trying to use that function.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
When I
but
when
I
I figured out
yeah.
what it was doing to my calendar, not gonna lie, I just laughed.
No.
It still sits there.
Yeah,
Midnight
and
to 2 a.m. is always blocked out for me.
I do put everything in my calendar, and I create work time like 3 months in advance, like recurring stuff. But then Sunday night I go in and I plan my week, and I look for 3 things every Sunday night that I can cancel
Ooh,
that don't need to happen,
that's an
that are on
interesting
my
little
list. And
strategy.
I'm kind of like, yeah, because I'm not good at saying no. And so sometimes there's stuff that crept in where people book to catch up with me, and I'm like, actually, we don't have enough to catch up on. Can we? And I just say to these people, hey, I didn't, can we do this 2 months later because there's no progress in this arena or something else that can go. And now, sometimes I book networking stuff, but then better networking came around, and I'm like, okay, I have 4 in-person networking events in the evenings. One of these got to go. That's not
Mm.
normal, right? So yeah, I take 3, and sometimes I find 5 things to take off.
You go looking for them, they kind of
Yeah,
rise to the surface.
yeah.
Interesting. And I see somebody else mentioned Calendly. You do all know that if you use something like Calendly, you can limit it. So one of the things that I did for mine is I won't let Calendly book more than 3 meetings in a day. So my Calendly link is out there with lots of people, and all of a sudden, sometimes things will just pop up, and somebody who needs me is trying to book time, and they'll say, "Oh, you have nothing open for the rest of the month." And it's because Calendly has decided, with my instruction, to be fair, that I can't have more than 3 meetings in a day booked through Calendly. So putting that limitation in there does kind of push things out a little bit longer. And I can go in and allow somebody to book something. But if it's, just left to its own devices, I would have every day booked every single minute. I cannot have something. All right. Moving on, delegation. How are people delegating things? So, anyone have virtual assistant who has managed to take over new things? Or maybe you're outsourcing something. That's a form of delegation too. So, Marcia and then Nellie.
Yeah, one again. I've had virtual assistants on and off, but my struggle is a little bit making enough to make it make sense. But if there's really admin stuff that somebody else can do faster and cheaper, I use Fiverr for a bunch of basic stuff. One of the better things I did is somebody else is doing my podcast stuff for me, so like the editing and stuff. And then I'm meeting with them, and they are not cheap. And I managed to renegotiate the contract, and they're doing now the work for 60% of the price, but they're also doing all my LinkedIn posts and stuff for them because the people they have doing the editing for them, that's not a lot of work. And I found that a drag to have it on my to-do list to create these social media posts every time and all that stuff and tag everybody. And so they took over that. And I was proud of myself for, first of all, renegotiating, but then also moving work that is just energy draining for me. It's not hard, but it just, yeah. And
Yeah.
recognizing that it was not good for my battery.
Oh, makes sense. Makes sense. All right, Nellie.
Hey everybody. So I have tried doing virtual assistant work, and the very first time I tried, I was not prepared. And I think a lot of people, when they say, well, that doesn't work, virtual assistants are so inefficient or whatever else, and it's really because I didn't have, the very first time I did it, I didn't have any systems. I didn't have anything documented. I just assumed that she'll just pick it up. And what happened was she kept asking me questions, which required me to do more work in managing her. And so, like, one tip, if you will, I would have for anyone who wants to do this, is to really create the the SOPs and all the other stuff that nobody wants to do, but like you have to get it out of your head and actually document what you're doing, and then you can pass that off to someone else. And then recently I've been experimenting a lot with AI and automations and trying to even and this is what I started teaching to founders as well, is like looking at the processes that you have and seeing what AI can take over, because that work gets done 24/7. You don't have to hire anybody to do it. I mean, there's a cost to running these automations, but it's a lot less than paying somebody all the time. And I find that they're also human, like the errors that humans make versus the machines make, those like almost, I've never seen anything fail when I gave it instructions on what to do. So that's been one thing that has helped a lot. So automating a lot of the stuff that I would give to and first fix the processes, define them, and do all of the work.
Yeah, and I actually used AI to create some standard operating procedures for my team, so that, if you have in a VA, you need to have standard operating procedures, or SOPs. And you also need to make sure that the person who is doing the work is the right person doing the work. So, anyone else delegating? Not delegating because it didn't work out. Delegation conversations? Don't have anybody to delegate to. Yep, there's part of that. All right, we're responsible. Isioma?
Hi, Bobby.
Hi.
Delegation is always an interesting topic because I have that discussion with my clients too. But my piece of advice is always start with what adds value in the business. That's usually the easiest way to start figuring out what you need to delegate and what you need to be holding on with both hands. So once you have a clear idea of that, you can prioritize and you can say, this is the stuff that I need to be responsible for. This is stuff I can, an assistant can deal with it, and this is stuff I can automate this. So that's just gives you a good starting point most of the time. Yeah.
Yeah, delegation, automation is a form of delegation.
Mhm.
So think about it that way. All right. And I noticed in the chat, Marcia was saying that up to 40% of what more than they do can be delegated. Lots of data out there showing leaders can delegate 40% more than they do. That's a lot. It's a lot. Nellie?
Yeah, I just want to underline what you just said, because I think it was so important, is that a lot of people think that you have to hire a VA, but automation is the replacement for that. And so there's so many things that you're doing on a daily basis that you can't even think that, oh, I need someone full time to do this. There's not enough stuff. So if you're a solopreneur or one person, there's a lot of things that you are doing right now that actually could be automated. And if you outsource that to AI rather than a human, then you are actually gaining. I've been working with founders who are solo people, right? They're gaining some meaningful 20 to sometimes 40 hours a week of stuff that could be completely done by not a human, right? Like an automation. And then that opens you up to do more things that are more strategic and working on your business, whatever it is that you're doing, of freeing up your time. So I just wanted to underline it because you said that and it was so important.
Excellent. And I noticed you've got a workshop this week on that. I will poke at one thing that you said. A few years ago, I saw a presentation from somebody about AI. It was a terrible presentation on AI, but I did learn one thing from it. And she said that if you are considering the use of AI in your business, look first at what you can automate, because automation and AI can be two different things. Yes, you can use AI to automate, but there are a lot of things that you can automate without ever getting near to AI.
100%. And that's the stuff that I'll be talking about. And before then, we'll talk about in the workshop that I'm mentioning here, the chaos and the systems and creating all of that is the most important part of it. And so a lot of people are thinking, I'm going to automate, I'm going to do AI, but most people haven't even done the base work. And that's mainly what the workshop focuses, and getting people to understand how to, like, what are the things, how do I think in systems about what I'm doing every day? And that's what's going to help you get there when you're ready.
Excellent. All right. One other question. What's one simple system or simple habit that has made the biggest impact on your productivity? What's something that you have done? And like, let's get those hands raised. Doesn't have to be big. Matter of fact, the best things are small, simple things that anybody can add. Trisha?
Two things. One, in my calendar, when I know that I need to reboot, I put a big chunk that says keep free. It's yellow. I color coordinate. So it's yellow and it says keep free. And then I can't book anything, nor can Calendly or anybody else. But the thing that's helped me the most, especially in the past few months, as like my world has been unraveling, all these things have been happening, is the little task app on my phone. And so there's been I've been going through way too many things, and so if I remember, oh my gosh, I have to pay the electric bill, and so I just tell the task app, remind me at 4 to pay the electric bill, and that's made a huge difference in all those little things that take up dirty space in your mind that you don't want to forget to do whatever those little things are. So I've been using that task app a lot over the past few months, just to as a brain dump so that I don't forget things, and it's made a huge difference.
Hi. I'm hoping I'm pronouncing your name Osei.
Close.
Hi,
Osai.
Osei. All right.
Yes. So I have my toddler with me, and that's why I've been like off. Was this
Totally fine.
Hi. Anyway, my one thing is also it's kind of like two things, but it's just like taking 10 minutes in the morning or 10 minutes in the evening just to think about your day and prioritize. It sounds so simple, but on the days when I don't do it, it's just chaos. But when I do that, I just take 10 minutes, especially in the mornings, take 10 minutes and just think about all the things in my mind. It's okay, baby. Everything on my to-do list, everything that I want to accomplish. Okay, say hi again.
Hi.
All the things on my to-do list, all the things I want to accomplish, all the things that feel like priorities to me, all the, all the words and things just going around in my brain and just taking 10 minutes to figure out what I need to do and what I can do for that day and what I need to move to another day. And I found that's really helped me to at least be focused and to feel like, the world is not against me.
Excellent. And it sounds like you have a lot on your plate there. All right, Nellie.
Yeah, so two things. Taking breaks to work out or going out for a walk, like that just clears my mind and actually refreshes me. And with that, time constraints, I find that when I don't have a lot of time, I am so much more productive and so much more focused. So I actually will put a time constraint. And like I found that the more busier that I got, the more effective that I am. And so I play into that. And I don't know if it's like more personality or if it actually will work for everybody, but I would experiment with that.
All right. Anyone else? What's working for you, Isioma?
So I'm just touching on all the things that they've done, but essentially my calendar blocking skills are at like an A level at this point because somebody mentioned in the chats that they were having issues with different calendars. I'm a big believer in integrations. Like there's some kind of integration that allows you to integrate all your calendars. So I'm fortunate that I work on Google Workspace both for my work and for like my personal life. Everything is integrated. So if something changes on one calendar, it's automatically synced in the other one. So there's no chances of like overlaps or any weird things. And because of that integration, so as much as I have meetings in my calendar, I have hangouts with friends in my calendar. I have breaks in my calendar. I have exercise in my calendar. It's there. Mine is beautifully color coded too. So yay.
Color coding. Okay. Sharon?
I spent good money on a productivity expert in 2018 or 2019. This is all she does. And she came to my office and we went through all the piles of paper. Does anybody have a paper tiger alive and well at your office? I just can't get rid. It's overwhelming. But the one thing she did is she insisted, and I think it was terrific. Yes, Bobby, every Sunday afternoon, find time or morning, whenever your Sunday allows you to do this. Get your cup of coffee. And my preference, I'm old fashioned. I still like a paper calendar, but I also have my full calendar, like Isioma. I'm not sure if that's how you pronounce your name. I also have it all digital too. And I literally transfer everything and I set my week up and I think about, okay, so I need to actually get dressed on Tuesday. I can be half dressed on Monday. You know what I mean? Like work clothes or, oh, I have to put contacts on Wednesday. I'll be meeting with clients. What, like even the smallest details about what the whole week looks like. And then I feel like I can go to sleep on Sunday night without worrying what's coming up. And it just helps me feel at ease, even if it's a really busy week, just setting it up for success with that calendar time. My family knows, don't be interrupting me when I'm working on my calendar.
Ooh.
Very helpful.
Calendar is the thing. Everything's gone to the calendar. All right. And feel free, folks, especially if you can't be on camera or you've got something going on, drop these little hints or questions or whatever in the chat as well. As I mentioned, I know we had some folks who were joining us late. We write articles from these. These are a great opportunity to get yourself into a Lioness magazine article. So share with the world, tell them all what's going on. Let's talk about building routines you'll actually stick to long term. Like, I'm like everybody here, it sounds like my calendar is my thing. And I've tried many different productivity enhancing strategies, and it keeps coming back to that calendar. So, does anyone have any other type of routine that you've done that helps you stick to some kind of productivity enhancing strategy? So, calendar, Trisha says she's been teaching teens to use the calendar on their phone. No one teaches them how to plan to get stuff done anymore. That is so true. Trisha?
Yeah, so I work with teens and they come to me when they're applying to college and no one teaches them how to, so they're completely overwhelmed. And I hate the word project when they're like, my teacher taught me, assigned a project. And then when we break it down and they realize, well, it's read this chapter, take some notes, right? So it's a bunch of steps. It's not like one big thing. So I teach them how to break that down. But in answer to your question, this is a small thing, but I attach annoying things to stuff that I already do. So for example, I'm a flutist and practicing sometimes is not my favorite thing to do. So I always practice right after I brush my teeth, for example. So and so I brush my teeth. I have to do my long tones. That's when I get them done. I brush my teeth. I do my long tones. So it becomes like one thing, and I don't think about it anymore. When will I do that? I brush my teeth and then I do my long tones. So and that has been helpful with my teen students too, to attach things to something that they already do regularly. But I do that for little things and it helps.
Awesome. All right, Marcia?
Yeah, I do when when I have new stuff. So I used to do this with gyms, right? If I would start a new workout regime or something, I would get the trial month and then I would force myself to go 24 times out of the 30 days, right? To really go that first month, but to get into the routine, to figure out the different teachers, the different, because then keeping it up after that first month I would be way better at it because I would understand how the classes worked and stuff. So and I started doing that. If I now sign up for things or I become a member of a new network or something, I force myself to go, the first month, I'm like, okay, or if I have a trial month, I need to go in 6 to the 7 days, even if it's 20 minutes a day, and look in there and see what I'm using and not using. Because otherwise, these memberships or these things run and I have all these things that I don't use. So I really, if I'm signing up and saying, which week am I then starting to do this or which month? Because I need to have time to actually do something with it every day. And it's made a difference in me spending money on things that I actually don't have time for today, so not doing it. But it's also helped me to actually use the stuff I do sign up or cancel in time before the trial period is over.
Excellent. All right. Nellie?
Yeah, to go along with that, I love Marcia, what you just said. I actually don't allow myself to quit on something until I have done it for 30 days. Because that early time when you're starting to learn a new skill, a new thing, it's so uncomfortable and you don't like it simply because it's uncomfortable. So I have a rule that I have to do it give it a chance for 30 days. And if I'm not really giving it a chance, that day doesn't count. So that is what helped me to eventually fall in love with something enough to understand the benefits of it. Because the early days, like you can't judge it by that. You're just you just don't like it because it's difficult and you don't like change.
Okay. Masai?
Yes, when you mentioned something that is that's not tied to your calendar, it reminded me of something that I do, which is that I pay attention to my cycle. I'm really big on energy to get stuff done. So I know like this part of my cycle, I have more energy. Ovulation is time to mingle and connect with people and do presentations. So as much as I can, I try to align my business and all the activities to things happening in my cycle. So it's not really like productivity when it comes to like my calendar and blocking my calendar and stuff, but it's more of understanding my energy levels and also during the day, but during the month, and then aligning different strategic actions to those parts of my cycle.
Okay. All right. So we've got a few more minutes here left today. Are there things that you came in and said, oh, we're going to talk about this that we didn't get to? Strategies? Um, let's talk about, what did you hear that you're like, I am totally doing that. I don't know about the rest of you, but I am totally on Sunday night going to be taking things off the week's calendar. Do I really need to do that? So if you have heard something that is going to be your next little productivity bump or strategy, let's share that. What worked for people? What did you say? I'm going to try that. Anybody want to share what they heard that sounds good to them? Everybody's like, I've heard so
I can
much.
share.
Yeah,
I think
good.
that taking things off the calendar and looking at, okay, is this, I'm going by nowadays income producing activities. And sometimes I look at my week to see, okay, is this something that I really want to do? So takeaway would be, like somebody mentioned, looking at 2 or 3 things I can cancel throughout the week that aren't as productive or time value. So that's my takeaway from today.
All right, getting rid of those things that just not working for you. That sounds like a good strategy to me. Outhorse? Oh, outsource maybe? Outsource your email?
Have you
Oh,
all ever heard of as an out of office message rather than the boring kind? You can literally outhorse your email.
oh
It
yes.
the most clever marketing campaign I've ever seen. It's from Visit Iceland. I use it every time I go on vacation, and people are wowed by it. And it always begins a conversation with someone like they respond back, that was the funniest darn thing I've ever seen. And then it's a chance to reach out and have a proper conversation. Do you
I
all
do
know what I'm
remember. Yes.
I would encourage you all to click on that link after today's meeting and watch the video. It is a real thing. You can have your email response by an Icelandic horse. I know it sounds nuts, but it's incredibly creative.
And the Icelandic ponies are fantastic. They're beautiful. Uh, but I remember that campaign when it just came out, so it was great. All right, Nellie.
So I just wanted to, this is a feeling that's coming up. So I just wanted to share it because so many of us think of productivity and like the thought like what in the last month and a half, I forced myself to go out to events more. And I have actually seen so many more productive meetings, uh, things that actually led to revenue generating activities, referrals, connections, something that you don't really think about because I totally felt like I have to now, I don't live in the city anymore. I have to drive 2 hours to go to the city where all the stuff is happening. And like, I literally have to force myself to go there. But the amount of in-person conversations and connections that can happen for your productivity, I think is so underlooked that I just wanted to highlight that because it's just coming up. Like we're all managing our calendars, but sometimes instead of canceling the thing that you think is not going to be the thing, could actually be the thing that's going to be the most productive for you for the next year or next month or whatever.
Excellent. All right, getting out in the world. All right, Marcia.
Yeah, that was not what I was going to say, but I second the message about the in-person. I do lots more of it, and it's much easier to filter out the noise, right? It's much more rewarding. I like the comment. I've been trying to really bring focus back, and on the automation, I like the challenge to think about what parts of it I actually want to automate because I run into the trap that I can that offered good sessions on stuff and tools, and I go to these and then kind of take away some around something like, oh, maybe I should use that or should do that. And instead, I had a conversation last week with somebody who's doing podcast and AI stuff, and he was asking me something. He said, "Oh, if that's your biggest challenge, you should look into this." And I'm like, "Yes, exactly." In 3 minutes, that was so much more effective than me doing more sessions and then having it sitting in a folder in my to do in the email to check out the whole series again to see which one I want. I should figure out which problem I want to solve and then pick something.
Excellent. All right. Well, we are wrapping up. Thank you all for joining us. I did drop the links to our newsletter and our December networking in the chat. And also, if you contributed something, keep your eyes open for the follow-up article. So thanks, everybody. And we will be seeing you all soon. Have a great Thanksgiving. Take care. Bye-bye.